Hello and welcome to my channel. My name's Peter Abraham. I'm a second career registered nurse with experience predominantly in advanced illness, those that would qualify for either palliative care or hospice care. Those are two separate services. I'm also a certified end-of-life doula through the International Doula Life Movement, an end-of-life educator, as well as an avid writer and book author. If you're new to this channel, welcome. Thank you so much for taking the time to visit. In this channel, we talk about issues related to death and dying. After all, we are all going to die. Wouldn't it be better if we're more prepared? We'll have video discussions from my fellow hospice nurses, my fellow holistic nurses, caregivers, family members, patients, and fellow end-of-life professionals, mainly doulas. Sometimes the videos will go over, here's the death and dying process, or how to interview, or to conduct yourself, HIPAA, and so forth and so on. The topic for today's video is going to be a continuation from my last video for my fellow end-of-life professionals, mainly end-of-life doulas, life transition coaches, because I really believe that we should be and could be involved throughout the entire life journey from 18 forward. Last episode was dealing with using Perplexity Pro, the AI chatbot, on how to use their lab feature for doing research statistics for breast cancer awareness. And I want to continue that, showing how did that end, not the full scope, because the presentation is going to be October 9th, and this video should show before then. I'm filming in advance of the video release. Today is Sunday, I'm losing track, September 21st, going back in time, September 21st, 2025. But I'd like to show you that, along with a lot of my fellow end-of-life doulas. Like we talked a little bit last time. What do I present about? What do I talk about? Well, I want to share with you, here's how I'm planning the rest of the year and looking into 2026. So before we go to the topic of today's video, I want to ask you, what are you grateful for? What are you grateful for? Sometimes that's a difficult question to answer. I ask that because I believe there are three pillars to building resilience. Resilience helps us to snap back in the face of sad events, sad, tragic issues, loss. And loss can come in many forms. I had a loss today, this Sunday. I don't want to go on that rabbit trail this moment because it is unbelievably fresh. We're talking less than an hour fresh. And it's tearful. So I'm still working through the grief of it. But I do believe that part of building resilience is asking, what are you grateful for? So even in the face of sad events, I do believe you can be grateful. And the more you practice this, the easier it becomes to be grateful, even when sadness hits you. So I'm grateful for my wife, Laura, who is unbelievably supportive of my journey in life. My journey, we adopted two special needs children, but even before we adopted, they're now adults. We went through that. We were doing foster to adopt, and so much going on. And all throughout, she didn't walk away, give up, throw up her hands. And so I appreciate that. When my own family disowned me, I'm the black sheep. She's like, let's change our last name. I was not born with the name Abraham. Let's change our last name for healing. Uh, all the ins and outs of running a business to last 18 of the 30 years in IT. We're not married that long, but she was part of the journey for those 18 years, not at the very beginning, because that started in 1998. But she came into my life. I believe it was in the year 2000. I'd have to look at a calendar. My short-term memory, my long-term memory is better, but not that good. I do remember anniversaries. But through thick and thin, she's been with me, and I don't have enough words of gratitude for that. I'm grateful for you, the people who take the time to listen to my videos that are often long and sometimes winded. They're verbose. And hopefully I do hope they benefit you. That's the intent. So I don't want to go too far down that road, just that I'm grateful. And those who are buying my books, because like just real brief, um, September 20th, wow, 47 books sold in one day. I am a small time book author. I'm not Stephen King or um, any Shelley Henry from the Amity Group. There's so many Barbara Carnes. There's so many people out there that are selling 50 books in a day. It was 47 to be specific. That might be small time, but for me, that's huge. So I'm grateful for all of you who are buying and reading my books. So getting into the topic of today's video, and I will be switching shortly to the tutorial where, small picture and bigger screen. I just wanted to take you through, I shared last time, I'm doing research with Perplexity Labs, and I shared I was going to download the results. Actually, I think I ended up copying and pasting it into a Word document. In fact, that's actually what I did do. Copy and pasting it into a Word document with Mac. Word for Mac was a challenge because I shared you for if you have a Mac, you can't copy from certain applications directly into a Word document because it carries over some weird formatting. So it's like, okay, let me create a empty WordPress post that I'm never going to publish, put it there, copy in the images separately because it didn't copy and paste those, but save that document and then feed it back into Perplexity to create the presentation. And that's what you'll see, as well as a presentation calendar that I'm working on for the rest of 2025 and 2026. So let's jump over to that. Be right back. Okay, we're back. This is Perplexity. We're still in the Madison County space. And while I do have a space dedicated for presentations, I'll use that for like broader based, anything I'm specifically doing for Madison County. I'm trying to build up because it remembers the history of things. I do want to add the disclaimer for anyone using artificial intelligence. It's not perfect. Just because it's a computer program doesn't mean the results are accurate. It hallucinates and can give wrong information. I've had it when I was trying to flesh this out, by the way, adding slides for nutrition. It was saying there's an IGA in Richmond, Kentucky. There's not. So you always want to take, grain of salt. So I shared with you I was going to put in some of the information the labs found. So I created the, let me see which one was mine. Okay, this one, this attachment was mine. It found some others that I had put in as part of the source material. So that's this paperclip icon where you can put in. And notice what lab is over here. Lab would be over here. This is the general. That's where I was for this. These are, you get to pick what sources. Oh, come on. My mouse is giving me, okay, it's acting up. I'm not going to take your time. And then this is what model. And so with models, you could say best or pick a specific model. This is not a tutorial on Perplexity AI in terms of complete tutorial, but just so you're aware, if you're not sure of what to pick best. The thinking models do deeper dives. They're not as deep as labs, but they do deeper dives. The max is they have different scales. They have a free version, they have the paid version. I have the paid version, and then they have the max version. So I have the pro version, which is $200 a year, that plus taxes. Um, and they have the max version, which is $200 a month. I don't know who could afford that, not me. But you can pick, and this is one of the reasons why I like Perplexity versus ChatGPT, because ChatGPT you can pick different models too, but only ChatGPT models. Here I get to pick a flavor, so to speak. In terms of models that are good with writing, those are your Claude from Anthropic. Um, Overall research, GPT-5, that's your chat GPT, can be very good. Grok, which is that's Elon Musk with X, um, mixed bag. I honestly don't know O3, just being transparent with you. Google is Gemini, Gemini is Google's product. I prefer these or doing the best. If I'm doing anything writing or presentation related, I want to use one of the Claudes. If I'm kind of phrase, if I'm feeding all the sources and I don't need it to go do a lot of digging, I'll pick Sonnet 4 or whatever the current model is. It just happens to be Sonnet 4. It used to be 3 and then whatever. Um, and they used to have some opuses that were part of the pro and the free, but they've removed that. But I'll pick that if I'm not 100% sure I have all the sources and I wanted to do a little bit deeper dive. I will do the thinking. By the way, here I'm here for search. This is research, so that's even deeper. Now, research and lab are like so closely related. That's where I'd be like, give me sources. Give me sources. If I wanted to do actual writing, slides, etc., I'm going to stick with the first choice. So going on, I always try to label. That makes it easier when you're going back into the space after you like. I have certain spaces that I have topics going back years, and I learned the hard way. Learned from my mistakes. I learned the hard way. Just starting off with what I wanted to do. Years later or months later, trying to figure out my research or whatever. So I start. Let me label it. And then here, what I'm telling it, what I would like, 45-minute presentation. I like learning objectives. These particular people, the people coming, uh, may already have a breast cancer diagnosis, so I have to keep that there. Healthcare literacy in my geographic area, I want to be very clear, non-judgmental channel. I do my best to be non-judgmental. Some people take the facts and truth as being hateful language or dismissive or downgrading. I am not, just to be clear, I'm not trying to be that way. But healthcare literacy worldwide, we have very low healthcare literacy, in my own opinion, plus anecdotal experience. But in where I live, it's very low. And I'm not saying that to belittle or berate anyone. I just, for accessibility reasons and inclusivity, that's again genuine inclusivity. I want to make sure everybody gets what I'm saying, what I'm talking about. Incident rates in Madison County, United States remission rates, which is very important. Modifiable risk factors, preventative measures. As I share this with you, a lot of people out there talk about literacy when it comes to AI. Give me this, and I'm not saying that's wrong, but if the more that you tell AI and go into it. This is like if you're talking to a research assistant. If I was going to somebody at a library, and the more details I give them that are on topic, if you do rabbit trails, very tight rabbit trails around the circle, the better results you're going to get. So, and then I give, for example, becoming less obese lowers the risk. There should be action steps for somebody to lose weight in a healthy manner. Monitor weight loss, stay on track. The same goes for other um, modifiable steps. Include a recommendation for what we should call this. For the introduction, I'm sharing, I'm the speaker. My bio in parts on that About Us page. That this is the topic, 3 to 5 learning objectives, conclusion slide, and and I'm one of the resource points. When we get into the actual presentation, which I'm not going to do slide by slide, I didn't want me and my work to be a centerpiece. This is about education, I'm the last part. I'm a part, but this is not a sales piece. There's a difference between marketing and sales. This is a marketing piece and it's a community education piece. So here it came out with the slide deck. At this time, I didn't know the date. I was doing research at the Madison County Public Library, where they had evening spots. So I knew I wanted to do a weekday or a Saturday evening. I did not want to do a Wednesday because I was already told Wednesday here, this is a very Southern Baptist and very church heavy group. And I don't say that to, again, I'm just stating the issues. Uh, but I wanted to get maximum availability. Now, best case would have actually been October 2nd in terms of what's going on with Berea College. The week that the library, I ended up picking October 9th, Thursday, because most of the evenings were booked. Tuesdays and Thursdays were the only evenings that they had slots after 6. And I learned my lesson. Instead of like blocking the actual time of the presentation, I blocked from 6 to 8. So the presentation is going to be 6:30 to 8:30. So I have a half hour to set up and a half hour to clean up. Where last time I did a presentation, I literally booked the hour and then I get there and there was a group running late. Pressure, no pressure. And so here it came in and it did the topics. I really like this. And again, I'm not going to take you through the whole output. Just it was like this was good. Now, just so that you're aware, I've had occasions. In fact, I just had one this morning before my wife and I left for church. It actually started yesterday evening. Yesterday evening, and then this morning, I'm the continuing education lead person at the International Life Movement. And I knew that in November, I wanted to do a presentation on how end-of-life doulas as non-medical support people can recognize, de-escalate safely and deal with combative patients in a safe way. And so and this was not the Madison County space, by the way, this was my presentation space. Hey, give me a slide deck for this. And even though I did not say combative patients at end of life because I used the word end of life doula, it focused on combative patients in the last 2 weeks of life. And I want to assume, oh my word. It was more me. I should have been I should have been more detailed in my prompt to say 18 and older. I didn't say that. So it's actually on me, not the AI's fault in that particular case. But here, um, it created the slide deck, and it actually did, and I like to remind it even if it's after the fact. Um, and then I did ask it to create the handouts, by the way, just so that you see how do you get handouts. So actually, I did the presentation, and then I gave them the presentation. Make handouts. Best case scenario, 300 to 500 words. If you watch that other episodes on an 8.5 by 11 page, a ½ inch to 1 inch margin, you're going to fit anywhere from 300 to 500 words. You're more likely to hit 500 at a ½ inch margin all around, not guaranteed. Font choice makes a difference. For example, the Georgia font, it makes uses more space than Times Roman, same font size 12. I am not a Africando or expert at font. This is just my own testing. I did have one of the handouts should focus because in my own homework, the Mediterranean diet is extremely good for fighting any type of cancer. And I wanted to have a handout that did include recipes. And part of my homework is I came up with several ones that looked pretty good in terms of helping to reduce weight. If you do education sessions, You want to have actionable items. And when you give your handouts in terms of adding free value, adding value to your presentations, give them something that they can use to make their life better. So I gave attachment. So I gave the cancer diagnosis that was the labs. Um, this was the labs, and that might have been my own homework. And then it came out with the handouts. And then I'll show you in a moment what I end up doing with that. Give me one moment to go through, one moment to go through. And then before I go too far, let me go to my Finder, open resource, and let's just do the Mediterranean diet just to show you. And this is where part of my marketing is I do have the compassion crossing, so they can say, oh, that's where I got it. Um, I did not. Sometimes I add copyright statements at the bottom. This one I didn't for several reasons, including how I generated the data and taking that into account. And I just try to be fair. But that's what it would look like taking in Word. And when I put this in Eventbrite to create this, it was like, give me a description. And by the way, you need to be prepared if you want to make the most out of any agent going back and forth. This is 139 characters. It's not. It's 146. Um, I'm weird. I have horrible short-term memory, but I'm weird when it comes to remembering numbers. No, I'm not Rain Man. But it didn't take accounts. And then this was amazing. I had to give me the description for Eventbrite. I thought that this was a wonderful job. I didn't like that I forgot I'm also an EOLD, but that's its own thing. Before I go too far there, let me stay in this Madison County space, and we'll come here, and I'm going to show you the presentation in a moment, but I wanted to include how you can use Perplexity AI to give you charts and graphs for your presentations. So once I did the presentation, which I'll show you in a moment, I downloaded it as a PDF, including the notes, and said, here, read it. You got the speaker notes. How about some graphs? And so it gave me the graphs, told me what slides to use the graphs on. Now, when we get into the presentation, I did not use every single thing that it gave me because some of it was um, not best case. And I'll go over in a moment. But this is where you can give visuals. Like that one I didn't like for the risk factors to control versus not control, because aside from being very busy, I don't know about you, I wouldn't make a graph that way. And then the other thing too, when it included resources, it forgot about CHI, St. Joseph's Hospital in Berea, that does mammograms. By the way, I do like that's one of my opening ones. It gave me that. That was a little bit too graphic for me. I'm weird. Yes, I'm a nurse. I've seen breasts. Um, but here it didn't include St. Joseph's. I had it come back. I actually gave it the graph that it created. Never assume it remembers, even though it should. And can you include that? And so it did. So let's go back. I'm going to actually come here first. I like being organized, if you've not noticed. Um, and so let's have a folder for all the different presentations that I do. I created a flyer with Canva. I really, granted, I'm biased. By the way, this is done in layers. So I actually, now this is a pro figure, but pro element, I should say, from Canva. I do have Canva Pro, but I have that at 35%. transparency just to try to have everything come out. The QR code that actually goes to the, oh, come on. There we go, to the Eventbrite list. So I can't say enough about both Perplexity AI and Canva. And I also did the Eventbrite, and this is part of the, oh my word, it's not letting me, taking too much time, sorry. Too many sorry about that. But I do enjoy that. So let's go into the presentation. Again, I'm not going to take you slide by slide, but walking through, we have the slide deck. I pulled in my logo. These are a lot of the graphs that it created. Now, some of the graphs, when we got into factors we can't modify, did not like its graph. So I did some research and ended up I did remove the background of the image I got, and I did use a pro feature. Come on, edit. There we go. I did use BG Generator to create the ribbons over here. This is when we get into slides, some of these slides are me versus AI because I wanted to expand upon the good ideas. Same way here with practical steps for weight management. I didn't like the graph that it generated, so I ended up pulling this out of another source and then using the background remover. This is part from labs. That's from labs. And there, sorry, coming down to the end. That's one of the ones from labs. And it was just very, very helpful to put through that. So as we're coming down to the tail end, we get into, I was thinking about this the other day. Okay, September, I did What is an End of Life Doula, the Circles of Care. I shared with you in previous episodes. Um, there's a fellow doula that did What is an End of Life Doula, the history of end of life doulas, the death doula movement. How do you integrate with one? Well, I got an event for October, and I do have a lot going on in October. October 3rd, I'm participating in the Telford YMCA Spooktacular. My wife is trying to encourage me to dress up as a butterfly. I don't know. Uh, October 9th is the breast cancer awareness. October 21st, I'm doing a presentation on what is an end of life doula, as well as RN concierge, tied into breast cancer awareness. So I'm very active in October. But what about November and December? And what about looking at next year? So one of the homework pieces I did before leaving for church today is I wanted to focus on what are the different healthcare months. Like I saw on LinkedIn that today, and keeping in mind when you see this video, it's after publication date. So I'm filming this Sunday, September 21st. Um, that's when I did this research. But I'm like, saw on LinkedIn, September 21st is Alzheimer Awareness Day. Like, to be honest, being transparent, I don't have all the months memorized. I knew there was a month for breast cancer awareness, but I didn't remember that it was October. I know that there's different days out there. I know May is when they celebrate Nurses Week. I know that mainly because I'm a nurse, but full transparency, I don't know. So I went out and I did some Google searches. What are the different calendars out there? And I wanted to grab several, even if duplicated data, just in case there were some minor differences. What's out there? So I found four different calendars that went over the different awareness months. And if you're a fellow end-of-life practitioner, I encourage you to do something similar to me. I'm not saying be like me, you be you, me be me. But I want to focus on Madison County when I can, otherwise Kentucky, because this is where I live. I do help people virtually and remotely. I've shared in the past. I recently helped a family in Ohio. I've helped people in England. I've helped a person in India. I can work worldwide. But in terms of my community outreach, by going out there and doing the community presentations, I want to serve Madison County, Kentucky when I can, and if not, Kentucky at large. So I said I need to create. If you go to look, and I'm going to include these links in the description below. Some months are like a laundry list. Whoa. If this is all I did, I wouldn't be able to do anything else. It's like some months are like almost an awareness event a day. Oh my word. So I want to pick the top three. I want a smart goal, specific, uh, measurable, attainable, realistic, time specific. I want something that I can work on and do. I don't want to. I believe in dreams, but you get there by smart goals, or at least stepping out in faith if you're not even sure of a goal. So give me 3 awareness months for the rest of 2025 and all of 26. Focused on events that most likely will interest or otherwise benefits of Madison County, Kentucky. And then this goes back into before, when possible, give examples to AI. Don't let it flounder. So in October, I'm doing the Breast Cancer Awareness Month because breast cancer, I didn't know this. I shared this with you if you watched the lab video. I didn't know what to expect for breast cancer in Kentucky. Didn't. I didn't know that it was larger in Kentucky at large compared to the US. I didn't know Madison County, Kentucky was lower than the Kentucky average. Didn't know that. So, but I'm saying here, wow, look at the URLs, coordinate Madison County, specifically Berea. I live in Berea, but Richmond's next door. And not that, Mount Vernon's next door, a lot of the other counties are next door. But Kentucky at large, if you can't find anything specific to Madison County, if it impacts the state of Kentucky, I prefer issues to raise awareness. And then I shared, what am I hoping to get out of this? Again, your prompts don't have to be like one word or sentence. I'm not saying that's wrong, but the more you tell it, the higher the quality output. So what I'm hoping, I want the top 3 awareness months, specific days within a month, list top 5 resources for awareness, and I'd rather academic, University of Kentucky, Madison County Department of Health Community Support resources. Now, I did not give it these, again, 154 sources, top 4 is listed here. Now, it gave me 2025, okay, breast cancer, lung cancer, mental health awareness. Gave me specific days, when in November, so that you're aware. I'm not there yet in terms of creating it, but I'm probably going to be looking at diabetes. Not that these other issues matter. I didn't know lung cancer actually covered too much. It is important, um, but diabetes is also close to my heart for a number of reasons as well, mainly with family members, both past and present, and friends. And I do have friends that have COPD and lung issues. I have to pick one, and maybe I will do two. I haven't looked at September. We'll see. December, not even sure yet what to do. Might pick that, not sure. Um, I will, that's its own history. I am transparent. I won't be picking that. This year's strain is actually negative efficiency. I am not going down that road. Then it gave me 2026. I really love this. I really love this. And by the way, because it gave me this, even though shame on me, because I should remember Telford YMCA, I'm going to Spooktacular on October 3rd. October 3rd. Wife's trying to get me to be a butterfly. When I did my slides, I need to go back in. I made myself a note. I need to list them as a resource, including the Berea and Richmond senior centers, as well as the fitness center. So I need to go back and do that. But one of the things I noticed, and I didn't put this until I got back home from church, is 2025, it gave me a lot of details. 2026 doesn't. So I can't encourage you enough. We're coming to our landing zone, that when AI gives you the answer, you can ask it to dig deeper. Like I need to be better for 2026. So I asked, and now it gave me top 3 for January in the days. And so I really, really appreciate this. And what I will do from here, I haven't done it yet, just letting you know my thoughts, is I'm going to probably create a calendar, a literal calendar that I can print out. I might make a to-do list in Todoist. I might do something in Notion.so. I don't know if I'll make something on that. This will be a digital product or so on and so forth. Not sure. But I just wanted to share with you that if you're like me, how do I get out there in the community? What do I talk about? There's ways to work through the question to give you answers so that you could be an educator and a resource for your community. These are critical topics that we need to talk about more. And in case you're wondering, as we come to the actual landing strip, this relates to death and dying, because not everybody that has health issues, we want them to recover, we pray for them to recover, we give them actionable items to recover, but not everybody does. And we're there. I like thinking of us as we're life transition coaches, not just death doulas. We're part there for the entire, I shouldn't say part, we're there for the entire journey at points that they welcome us into their lives. I thank you for your time. Please consider subscribing. Please like, and thank you. God bless.